Hey everyone, and welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Before we start, you already know, gotta give a shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. And if you don't want to be on my channel and you want to stay home, make sure you hire attorney Rosenberg. On today's episode, we have Sari. Welcome to Indicted TV, Sari.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No,
Super excited to be here.
No, I'm excited to hear your story. I'm sure everybody's going to be like, well, we want to hear what she has to say. She's most of the show, you know?
Yeah, yes.
I mean, everybody likes to hear our stories.
Yes.
So tell me, or I should say our experiences.
Absolutely.
Tell me where you're from, where you grew up, mom, dad, brothers and sisters. How was the inside of your household growing up?
Well, I was born in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
In 1975, so I'm 48.
Nice.
And I was raised in Washington State. I was adopted when I was 3 days old. So,
oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes. So I was raised actually in a Caucasian household.
Okay.
So super different. Like I didn't really know my culture. I didn't have any experience being like Hispanic. Didn't even know I was Hispanic until it was a few years ago. It was crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I didn't know exactly. I mean, I had an
You'll
idea.
tell us all
yes,
of that. We
absolutely.
know.
So I was raised, in a very average household. My parents, they're still actually together.
Nice.
So, I just had a good home, but I always felt like I didn't fit in. So I could be in a room full of people, but didn't fit in. So, I was always troublemaker, always in trouble in school.
Even from kindergarten to
Yes.
even in elementary.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I was always fighting. Like I was always in trouble. I got my first fight in kindergarten. Like always, just didn't take shit from people. You know. So and always said what I felt. Always was very open and bold. So still am.
Yeah, you have to be.
Try not to fight anymore. That's not the look anymore when you're 48, right?
Yeah, we can't be old and ridiculous.
No, exactly, and break our nails and shit, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up pretty, in a normal home. Like I said, never fit in, and then starting like junior high, about sixth grade, like I started getting in trouble. Then obviously hanging out with the wrong people, running with the wrong crowd.
Just naturally, huh?
Yeah, you know what? I actually just fit in with those people better. I liked those people. They were down for it, whatever. So I just easily fit in with that type. So started, running away.
Okay.
And my parents were good too. So I feel bad to my mom and dad.
Oh, sorry, Dad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're amazing. They're still with me now, but I was very wild. I was like the outcast of the family, always in trouble.
And did they have other children as well?
Yeah, I had a brother, an older brother, and he was always wondering why I was always in trouble. So he was, but he was very average. He didn't get in trouble. So they were like, oh, she's so wild. Like, what's wrong with her? So, but that wasn't like really like legally yet, It's just more like running away.
It was in your
partying.
blood.
Exactly. Like, and, like partying, drinking. Back then, there wasn't like the drugs they have now, but like we did like, like weed or, was it like crosstops or wasn't the same thing it's now, right?
Crosstops? What is that?
It's like speed. It's like little pills. Like, yeah.
Like speed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Little speed pills. Mm-hmm. But that was the only real drugs that they had then. So, I quickly, caught my first charge, which was, it was a gun theft charge. So when I was 14.
Oh, okay.
So I started, so that was my first trip to juvenile.
Grand theft gun. What does that mean?
No, gun theft.
Okay.
So the gun theft. So I was involved with, some of my friends were there. We stole guns. So so
that's intense.
Yes. So that was my first go around with going to juvenile.
How did you guys get caught up?
I don't know. I don't think it was like someone's fingerprints or something. So
and then they told,
because they sold the guns, so then they got fingerprinted and whatever got traced back. So that was my first time visiting juvenile hall.
And you said you were like 14 years old.
Yes.
And this is in Washington.
Yes.
Okay. And how was that experience? Like, you're getting handcuffed and you're getting put in the back of the car and you get to juvenile hall. Like, what's going through your head?
Well, then I didn't really care. It was like fun. Like I didn't care. Like it was like, okay, whatever. Like, let's do it. So like I didn't have kids. Like I was down for whatever. So I, like it didn't bother me. So that was my first time I had went to the actual institution. I don't know if they call it, what they call it now. What is juvenile prison? It's still
like a youth authority.
Yeah, or the institution or something. I don't know what it was then, but
so they actually sent you to like a kid prison.
Yes. Yes, but that was like, I think I got like 15 months or something that
So
time.
it was your first time, and you get away. They sent you away for 15 months.
Yes.
Tell us how, like, a little bit about how it looked, like type of food, because I'm sure it's kind of different from the way it is over here, like the juvenile halls or whatever.
It was in like northern Seattle, so it was different. Like it was actually like co-ed, so like you have like,
oh wow,
you have like there was like guys and girls, so that it was like they had like, then they had the little pods. But then you have like central, so it was like kind of outside. There was different like little housing units, and then you actually like, if you go to central, that's like the whole or whatever for like, mental health or like whatever, to go see your counselor, you go like to the central area in the middle. So like it was, and if you're like in some of the housing, like if you're in like therapy or like treatment, they had them like co-ed, so it was kind of cool. Like it was kind of like camp. Like your parents could see you, or you could have visitors.
I was about to ask, did your parents visit you?
They always visited me.
Nice.
They're kind of like, what is wrong with her?
They're very support, but you were just wild.
I was wild, yeah. So I was like, all my probation officers always said that, like, oh my gosh, you have like the best parents, but you're like always so wild. I didn't want to follow the rules. I didn't like to follow the rules.
Hey, sometimes it's what it is.
Yeah. So they were always supportive. They came and visited me, and they're like, okay, why did you do this? Always thinking I'm going to do the best thing when I get out. So, and that was every time, right? So.
Because you kept going back.
Yes.
So you did your 15 months. Did you fight while you were in the youth prison?
Yes, I was always fighting.
You were always fighting.
But I also made friends. So when you're in jail, right, you meet more friends.
Yeah, for sure.
They're doing more shit. So you're getting more trouble, right? So, yeah. So it was crazy. So I just kept meeting more people that were like just influencing how I already was. It was just like co-signing, right? Like, okay, you're already bad, like, or whatever. So yeah. So that was the first time I was actually locked up.
So you did your whole 15 months. And what happened? Well, let me ask you, what was the craziest thing you saw your first 15 months?
Crazy. It's gold. So, like, the craziest thing was, I don't know, people would, like, obviously fighting. They would, nothing too crazy, but, like, people would it's like the whole, like, they would disappear for a few days.
Got it.
People would fight the officers, like, I never did any of that shit.
The officers were nice to you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, I mean, like, I listened for the most part. I wasn't there. Like, people act stupid. Like, if you're already there, you're going to do what you have to do. Like, it wasn't like, what's the purpose? Some people act really dumb, they have, like, some issues, things like that. To me, it's like, why do that at that point?
For sure. I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did your 15 months, you get out. What happens?
And then I end up meeting people in there. So I met my best friend, Danielle, and... So actually, the first time I got out, so there's so many times, I have to remember the exact timeline. So actually, I ended up stealing my parents' car.
Hi.
I know, it's bad, my poor parents. But like, I went to, so we stole it and we ran away to Oakland. So Oakland, California, and I ended up staying there, like literally right when I got out with this girl. Like, she was like my best friend when I was locked up. Like, I was like we didn't have like cellies then at that time, so they were like she was like my neighbor, so like I ended up getting to know her really well. So with her I ran away, and she was actually from Salinas, so like so we went to Oakland and we stayed there for a few months with some Jamaican guys.
Oh my God, and you kept the car this whole time?
Yes.
And your parents kept paying for it, or they just never called the cops?
No, they reported it because I was on probation. So that I had a warrant for my arrest.
Oh my goodness.
They were looking for me, and like, but I was always good. I don't think they thought I was out of town, I had called them to tell them I was okay a couple times, but nothing, like where they're like, you need to come home. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
You're having too much fun.
Yeah. So I was with some Jamaican guys. This is crazy. And like some grown ass Jamaican men. Like, I know. Yeah, for real. They had like wives, and like we were staying at a hotel, and they kept us there, and they were like kind of crazy and like really, they're older men. Like, I was still a child, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up running away from them, and then we went to a military base. What is the military base there? Let's buy Salinas. It's like Fort something. I ended up getting arrested on that.
Fort Worth is in Texas.
Not Fort Worth. It's Fort something. There's a military base right there in Central California. So we ended up getting busted there and getting arrested by the military.
How was that?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Tell us, how was that experience? Like, to get arrested by the military is kind of intense.
Yeah, it was scary. Like, they come in with all these guns. So we were like in the what are they, like the little housing place, right? You're not supposed to be there. It's trespassing. So they come in with guns and rifles.
What the heck were
and
you guys doing there?
Yeah. Well, we had met some guys who were like taking a shower, like literally. I know. Thank God my girls are not like this.
Thank God.
My kids are like completely different.
Hey, sometimes we do, our lives are to save our kids.
Well, I didn't even tell my kids. I didn't tell my children all of this stuff for like
Till
years.
now.
Yes. I like it wasn't really important, and I wanted them to be raised like in a good home. So yeah, thank God. But yes, so like I got arrested by there, and then by them taken to jail. They contacted my parents and my probation officer. So my probation officer actually flew down.
Oh wow!
And they flew me back shackled and everything back to Washington State.
Was it a regular plane or was it Con Air?
It was a regular plane, but like I was shackled, so you're like in the back, apart from they didn't have people in the back.
Oh, so they didn't see you? They put you in first or
yes,
something? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So but shackled and handcuffed and everything, and like the jumpsuit.
And you're 16?
Yes.
Or
yes,
around 16?
Like 15, 16, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going back to Washington to now do time again. You know,
violations.
Yes, for violations. But I didn't go back to the institution at this point then. So I still I did like a few months. Got out, still on probation. I was on probation until I was 18, like with juvenile, you know? So, and then I ended up, the second time, like I went, well, there's several times. So like I gotten in trouble for stealing a car off a car lot. So
wait, tell us how you did that though.
Well, my friend hotwired it and then I drove it. Like
was it your same girlfriend or was it a guy?
These were a couple guys. So I was with like 3 homeboys. So like they hotwired it. I'm the one who said I was the one that was down enough to drive it. So, and then the city we're in, we got pulled over by the police, because they already knew it was stolen.
Obviously.
So I waited till the cop got by my driver's side door, and I took off.
You're like, hey,
yeah. I was like, fuck it. So we got in a high speed chase.
My God.
Yeah, and I was always like that bad bitch. I didn't care, So we're in a high speed chase, and then I actually lost the cops that time. But then we leave the city. So we get away from the cops. We do a quick little whoop-de-whoop, get away from the police. And then we go to Tacoma. So I don't know if you're familiar with Tacoma, Washington, or
I've definitely heard.
Yeah. It's by Seattle. So we headed to Tacoma, and there they don't play. There's a lot of gang activity. They're crazy right there. So that's when I ended up getting arrested the same fucking night. You had fun one whole day. Yes, absolutely. So I'm still on probation. So they take me to jail there. They take me to juvenile. I'm locked up in there until they extradite me back to, Vancouver, Washington, where my probation is. And they're asking, then I'm there again. But I don't think I went to actual... Actually, that time, yes, for eluding the police and grand theft auto, I did go back to the institution.
Yeah, it's kind of like a big, like a semi-big charge, especially back then. I think now it's probably a little more minor.
Yeah, now it's whatever. After COVID, it's fuck it, they don't care. You can do whatever.
Go home, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So then, I get charges on that. So, yes, so I go back to the institution. And
how long did you do for that?
You know what? It was like a year.
So you always did these long stretches.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you went back to the same institution.
Yes. It was called Echo Glen back in the day. I don't even know if it's still there. I have no idea. It's been years ago.
Yeah, which is okay.
Yeah.
And you've seen the same workers.
Yes.
They're like, oh, you're back.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm always like, whatever. Okay, I'm back. I knew everybody because I knew people there who were doing. I knew children there. There was 10-year-olds there. On crazy they killed their parents or there's a lot of that was the first time I learned that there was women that were actually molested children. Like a lot of sad things. You know what I mean? Things you don't really realize until you're in that situation.
Because we're so blessed and we just don't care about. What we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So selfish.
And I was spoiled too, and I'm sitting here being a fucking bad brat. I'm a badass kid.
Now that you think about it.
Now that I think about it, absolutely. But the things we do, who knows why I did it? You know what I mean? Maybe the people are like, oh, it's because you're adopted. And
but you didn't even know you were adopted.
No. Well, I did. I knew from the time I was young that I was adopted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what kind of made you feel some way?
Well, I think it made me feel like I never really fit in, yes, because I never really fit in with where I was raised or where, you know what I mean? I always felt different. I didn't feel oh, yeah, this is me. I feel at home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you feel this is where I fit in, this is me completely. This is my, I never felt like that. So I never felt maybe it was because I was missing culture. Culture's a big deal, and I didn't really, I didn't feel I just didn't feel like I was part, But I went with those people, with my homies. That's who I felt like I fit in with. Those were my people. They always had my back.
Yes.
until I really started growing up, obviously, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was constantly in trouble as a juvenile. Like, I was always locked up. I got busted on several charges. Well, that time, actually, that's when I was released when I was 18. So on my 18th birthday, literally, I was released. So that was back, like, nowadays, I think they charge you as an adult, right?
Yes.
They don't fuck around.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you got in trouble, you're going to big girl jail.
Yeah, I guess depending on the case or what you get charged for, things like that. I'm sure, like murder, you're gonna get
absolutely.
Charged. You're gonna get charged as an adult, even if I think you're like 13 years old.
Yeah, nowadays they don't play.
Yeah,
but back then, oh, you have the little dots right here.
I know. I was actually looking at yours too.
I know.
I'm observing you. I was like, yeah. I mean, not like, yeah.
I got that shit when I was 16. So like, I literally woke up. Like, I had this little cholo boyfriend. I loved him. Oh my gosh, and I got the Mad Dog 2020. I think they still make Mad Dog.
Yeah, I think so too. I never drank.
And like after like 4 or 5 bottles, like I didn't remember. So I woke up with this on my face, and I went home. My mom's like, "That better be Sharpie on your face." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I looked at the mirror. Yes, I didn't even remember getting it, but that shit doesn't fade.
No,
it doesn't fade. I was 16 too. And everybody, and even I've had people like tell me you should get laser surgery. Then I go get it like in a consultation. Like, no, it's too dark. Like the pigmentation and like where it's at, it won't maybe like. Well, I don't even care either.
Yeah.
Like now it's like part of me. Whether you see it or not, I'm like, yeah, I don't even notice it. But I was like, paying attention to your dots. Okay.
And mine are small. Yours are big. Yours are like this.
I know. Like, yeah. I was like, oh, the hands are all big. Yeah. People see it. They're like, do you have 3 dots? And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. I had them since I was 16 and I'm now 48. That shit doesn't fade. No. So.
But you look so good. I mean, 48 is not old.
No, I'm good. Like, I'm young. We're as young as we feel.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's all in the mindset, for sure.
I definitely agree with you with that part. So tell me, so you get out, you're 18 years old.
Yes. So I get out, I'm 18, still haven't changed, still doing the same shit.
Yeah, because you didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't care. All my friends, they're still doing the same shit, going to jail, getting out, same shit. So I get out and I meet my oldest daughter's dad. So my oldest daughter's 29.
Okay.
And he's bad. Like, he's just bad, doesn't give a fuck, likes to fight,
Your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. He's this big like, he was crazy, and I loved it because he was just, I watched him, like, he doesn't care. So everybody's scared of him too, so it's like, okay. Like, so shortly after that, got pregnant with my daughter, and I did, like, calm down for a while I was pregnant. Were
you with him, or?
I was with him, but I didn't live with him. I was living it with my mom.
Okay.
My mom and my dad.
And obviously, they've always been so supportive of you, and still.
Yes. So they're helping me, and I ended up with some medical issues, so like with preeclampsia early on, so I was like on bed rest like the entire pregnancy almost. So like I kind of like pulled myself away from that lifestyle, was still in contact obviously with my people, and so I had my daughter. I was 19. And was not ready to have a child.
Definitely.
And my mom's like, my mom couldn't have children, so she was always like very affectionate towards kids, so she easily helped me with my daughter.
So you're like, okay, here you go, I'm out of here.
Yeah. All the time. So I didn't have her. The good thing, I didn't have her in situations like that, like in the street, like with whatever. But I did have her, like, I was like out in the street. Like, I was always out. I'd be passed out taking care of her. I'd put the little like gate thing around, not lying. You know what I mean? Like when my mom would be at work, like I would be trying to take care of her, hungover, whatever. Like I was still wild, and being a parent, but a young parent, it's hard. Yeah, especially when you're wild, So I still wanted to live my lifestyle, but yet I'm a parent, So I can't say I did the best I could do, but I did what I did.
You did what you did, and hey.
And my parents were there, so she was raised still in a good home. So they took care of her. They took her to daycare. They helped me out, and I had like a lot of family friend support like that, But like when she was 6 months, I ended up going back to jail. So.
Did you catch a new case?
Yes. So I wasn't on probation because when I turned 18, everything was finished. So like I was finished with probation. I got out, no probation. So
and you thought you were all like, okay.
Yeah, I'm good, right? So then I was hanging out with the same friends, and we were still stealing cars, and so we we were being watched because we were always stealing cars. So
after a while,
yeah. So
it's probably the same area.
Yes, absolutely. And then the cops know who you are. The police know who you are. Absolutely. So they the day that we got caught, I thank God I wasn't driving, but so we had to go. I had to go to the post office for something. So the detective was there. So we oh fuck. So we leave, and there's a 15-year-old driving. One of my friends was 15. He was driving. He doesn't even have a license, right? But whatever. We're in a stolen car. So we get in a high-speed chase
Again,
and my friend in the back, like he's like putting together his gun, like he has, I don't know what kind of, like he had like a shotgun. I'm like, put that shit together. It says like, do not do that shit, you know? And so he's throwing out whatever he has out the window, and we're like doing like 90 down. It was like the morning. It was like early in the morning. It was like 10, 11 a.m. So it was like people going to work, you know, we're like in the middle, like of the middle, you know, at the middle of the most like,
if where there's a post office, that means it's a busy street.
Absolutely. It's residential. So there's like the middle of the, like the turning lane in the middle, but there's like 2 lanes on each side. So we're flying down the middle, but doing 90, a bunch of police cars, you know, like, you know, everybody's coming after us, and he's like trying to put together a gun, and I'm like, can you not do that? Like, we don't need to do that shit. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's already
we're gonna fucking kill us, you know? Yeah. So we ended up like it was miles and miles, and then like he went to go take a left. We're doing like 90. He puts the car into a pole. The pole comes in the middle of the car.
Oh my God.
So it's like a coupe too. It's a small car. So they get out and run. Like, I'm fucking stuck in the back. So of course I go to jail.
Yeah.
So I get arrested. You know, like I get charged. That time it was just like theft because it wasn't grand theft auto. I wasn't driving the car.
Or like joyriding or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then like obviously like, well, I think I didn't get charged with the gun charge because he had it on him. He ran, but he had the gun on him. So whatever. So I go to jail, and that was my first time in adult jail.
How was that experience from the...
different.
Tell us about that experience, your first time at, you know, because I'm sure it was like the county jail or something.
Yeah, it was county jail. Ew, like county jail is disgusting. Like, ew, like I don't know. Like, it's different, way different than juvenile. Because juvenile I felt like was more like camp, like kids camp. You know, they're way more lenient. I'm sure now it's not, you know. So I'm pretty sure now it's not. But back then it was, you know, back in the day. So like, you know, jail obviously... barely see sunlight, you know, like you're stuck in this cell, it's dirty, there's like a bunch of, you know, people who are coming in off drugs, you know, like just a mess, women who smell, you know, like, you know, just dirty people, you know, like,
yeah,
you know.
Tell me how you felt, like, because when they search you as an adult, it's completely different as a...
Oh, yeah.
How did that make you feel? You know, you've never been through that? Like,
well, reality check, because now it's different, because now I have a daughter at home. So I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, it was way different, because when I didn't give a fuck when I was younger. Take me to jail, lock me up, like, it's cool. I have my friends there, like my people are there, like I'm going back, I'm gonna see them again, you know. So now it's like it's more of a reality check, because now I have a daughter at home and I'm supposed to be responsible, and now I'm doing stupid shit, right? So like it was awakening, but obviously not
you know, I was gonna stop you. Yeah.
So like, but you know, so I'm like, you know, and then I actually did like 6 months in county.
And how are the guards with you? Like the COs?
I mean, some of them are cool, but some not. Yeah, obviously, it's a hit and miss, you know.
And the ladies, because, you know, there's like...
Oh, my gosh, the ladies. Like, yeah. They're
you're
like,
young.
Yes, you're young. They talk shit to you. They make you feel like you're nothing, like you're a stupid idiot, right? Like that you ain't shit, you know. And like, I guess that's the whole way that they're supposed to be, I guess.
But what about the inmates?
What do you mean? How
were they with you?
I mean, they were like... okay, like I don't remember actually having a fight like in county jail that time, you know. Like, I'm pretty cool with people if they're cool with me, you know. Sure. And I feel like I have a good vibe.
Yeah, you do.
You know, I have a good vibe, you know what I mean? So I try to be like, you know, you get what you give.
For sure.
And I've always been like that, but fuck with me, then that's, you know what I mean, then it's different. But like, yeah, so that time I didn't really have issues. Like, I always end up, you know, having
key guys that time.
That time. Yeah, exactly, that time. Yes, so like I didn't really have, but it was sad for me, like, to be away from my child.
Did your mom go see you and take the baby?
That I didn't. No, she couldn't bring the baby at that time, so I didn't see her. So, but I got to talk. Which you can't. How do you talk to a baby in 6 months? Yeah, at that time it wasn't like, I know now you could bring your children. Went through it. Yes, yeah, it was hard. Like, it was,
and then also like, well, for me at least, I could only speak for myself. When you have a baby and then you go to jail and you're going through all this shit that you put yourself through. Yes. You're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, the baby, like.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get out and I'm going to change. And I was, you know, reading the Bible and all, you know, like, not that there's anything wrong with the Bible, but, you know, a lot of people say that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, who doesn't say that? Like, you're at your moment, you feel like you're at your lowest, you think that that's it. Like, I'm going to change. Yeah. Okay. Well, that time I didn't. You know what I mean? So like, but like, I think that's intentions of people when they go to jail. Like they want to make something different. And I'm tired of this shit. But then how many people say that they get out and do the same shit? Most.
Like 80%, 90%.
Yeah. A big amount.
80,
Yeah. Exactly. So that was my thing. Like I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do this, but I didn't. So
6 months passed. You didn't get to see your baby. You came home.
I came home doing the same shit, like
okay, so nothing, not even changed, not even when you came home.
No, I mean I'm trying. Like I know I made effort to try.
Did you work? Did you ever go? Like, did you do anything for yourself?
I would have like short-term jobs, but I was always a type that like I couldn't find anything that I loved, and so it was like I just get drunk, I'd be hungover and not go. Honestly, like I was like short-term. I wasn't a responsible adult for sure. Like I was I could find a job, work a couple months, go out with my friends.
Like, I ain't going to work.
Fuck, I'm hungover. I'm just not going to show up. Don't have a job, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that was a bad cycle for me for a long time. So that was like, because I was still doing the same shit, still had the same associations with people. So, like, I'm still.
And were you still with your daughter's dad?
No, at that point, no. Like, no, I'd figured out that he's no good.
Oh,
he was like on drugs. He was like on drugs, and back then it was. You remember crank? Like it was like like he was. Yeah, like it was like before like the real. Like he was on drugs and.
Because you never really use like hard drugs like that, or were you using?
No, at that time, no. Okay. Like I had tried it with him before, yes, but that was like the first time because like really like when I was younger, before I was like 24, I don't think there really was. Like the hard drugs yet. Not like now. Now it's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of like more like crack and coke.
Yeah, exactly. And so I had tried coke, but it wasn't really my drug. Like I didn't really like the way it made me feel.
So you were just wild on your own.
Yeah, but I like to drink. That was always my thing.
Got it.
I still kind of like to drink. A little bit. I try to stifle that part of me. You know what I mean? But I like to party. You know what I mean? So that was always my thing. So I was always drinking. So that was my thing. So but he was like really into drugs, like more like psychedelic drugs, things like that. So it was made him crazy. That's why I started figuring out that's why he's fucking crazy. Yes. He was crazy because he was on drugs. Yeah. So like, and then I started.
You were crazy because you were crazy.
Yeah, I was just crazy. Yeah.
You're just down. He was just on drugs.
Yeah, he was just on drugs. I'm like, this motherfucker is crazy. Like, yeah, but he was always on drugs. So, and that unfortunately didn't change for him. Like it became like, yeah.
But at least you realized that, and you're like, you know what, I can't do this.
Yeah, but I never lived with him. It wasn't like a real relationship. Like I lived with my mom still. She helped me with my kid, and then it was. So I didn't go to jail in between, and then I had my son. So when I was like 23, I got pregnant with my son.
So you didn't go to jail for like 3-4 years or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I had my son, and when I was pregnant with my son, I found out that he had a heart defect. So that changed my whole world. So I was with his dad, that was my first husband. So with his dad, he was crazy too. I was crazy. We're always fighting. Like that was my first domestic violence relationship. But I had a really hard time with him. So I ended up getting pregnant with my son, and they told me not to have my son. They told me to abort him. And I was like, I can't, you know what I mean? I couldn't because I had already had a child and I could feel him moving, and I just felt like wrong by that,
Of course.
So I ended up going through with the pregnancy and having my son, and he ended up having open heart surgery at 3 months.
Oh,
so that really like opened my eyes, you know what I mean? So now I'm really not partying. I'm not doing shit. Like when I'm pregnant with my kids, I was not partying. Like I was like clean. I'd take care of myself, So, but actually, wait. So when I was 2 months pregnant with my son, I got in a fight with his dad. Like, okay, so someone had jumped his sister. So the guy who jumped his sister, we went into his house. We went into this guy's house. The guy wasn't home. When he came in, we jumped him. We beat the fuck out of him. And I hit him in the head with a coffee cup. And so I ended up getting charged with second-degree assault with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon's a coffee cup, right? So I'm going through these charges. We're on the run from the police when I'm first pregnant with my son. This is before I knew that he had any problems. Like I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even partying. Like, but we were pissed. Like, he jumped his sister's like tiny. Yeah. She's a little tiny girl, like petite, tiny girl. I was like, what the f*** wrong? She got all beat up. So like, we were like, that's the only reason I would have put myself in that position, like 2 months pregnant. You know what I mean? And so the guy ended up going to the hospital, and I felt bad. Now I feel bad. Like that's so wrong. You know what I mean? But hindsight, now I look at it like.
I mean, but is it really wrong? Like, bro, you just beat up my sister.
Well, exactly.
Like,
and with other girls too.
Okay.
Right. So So, but they didn't see that. The police didn't see that shit, right?
Yeah.
So they only see that we jumped him and then I hit him in the head with a coffee cup. That's the deadly weapon, supposedly, whatever. The guy goes to the hospital. Like, he's injured. He's in the hospital. And I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. And I know he had a concussion, things like that. So he was in the hospital for a while.
Oh, damn, you got him.
Yes. So then, then I got charged with those charges. And then, but we're on the run from the police. It's like, fuck, I'm pregnant. I can't go to jail, you know? So, like, it was about 3 or 4 months that we're on the run. We ended up hiring an attorney. Like, this is funny. I worked at McDonald's. I was working at McDonald's on the run, like with a warrant out. They were like looking for us, you know. So I'm working in another city, like, and I'm pregnant, you know, and then I'm finding out all this stuff that's wrong with my son, you know, genetic things, right? So I'm going through all this court proceedings while I'm fucking also going through all of these things. Like, I'm young. My son has this heart defect that could not, they were telling me that he may not live, you know? And so, like, I was like, had a lot going on mentally, you know?
Sure.
And so then, but luckily, as things played out, like, knowing that all those things I had wrong with my son, I ended up I pled to like 3rd-degree assault, that didn't have the deadly weapon. The guy ended up feeling bad for us because of like the situation with my son, and
that was
you know,
very nice. The guy that you hit.
Yes. So like I ended up only doing like 6 months on house arrest.
Oh, good.
Yes, thank God, because my son really needed. I mean, he had open heart surgery. Wow. He was on bypass and everything. Like, he had like an 8-hour open heart surgery.
Wow.
So it's crazy the things that they could do to help babies. Like, well, it's even better now. This is 25 years ago. You know, so he had open heart surgery, and 6 days post-op, he went into cardiac arrest. And so he actually died in front of me. Like, I was in the room. Wow. So they're resuscitating him. Usually I can't even talk about this without crying. So this is like very close to my heart, you know?
Of course. This is your son.
Yeah.
This is your everything.
Yes.
You know, and you're young, and you know,
I'm like, what is going on? Everything's happening, right? So fast. Yes.
And you're probably on house arrest. And,
yes.
you know, you could only, well, maybe obviously they probably allow you to be at the hospital or things like that. But,
yes.
You know, and you're young. And
yeah.
You're going through all of this.
I didn't even know all these things were happening to people. Like, it's crazy. You see so many people and parents in there with children with these having babies having heart surgery. It's like, it's a hard thing, you know?
I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry your son's doing amazing.
Yes. Now. Well, it totally changed my life. Like, the whole thing, like, crazy changed my life. So, like, he ended up having, like, cerebral palsy. So he had a brain injury from the cardiac arrest at the hospital. So, like, and I didn't know this then, right? So, like, as time went on, as he got a little bit older, you started noticing there's something wrong, right? And so, like, I was going through all of this other stuff, and fuck it, the court shit wasn't anything at that point. That was nothing compared to my son's health issues, you know? And so, like, I was different. I wasn't hanging out then. I still had contact with my friends, but my life was changing rapidly because of what his situation was, you know? And like, he was really sick for like a couple years. So then to come to find out, he had cerebral palsy, he had all these medical issues, so he couldn't, he doesn't walk or talk, but he's now 25, crazy, he's still alive. So, like, he's very, very strong. But they sent him home with me to, like, with hospice, so they didn't feel like he was going to live past 5 months.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's really crazy, like, how, and now he's like he's about to be 26. So he's like my angel. He totally changed my complete life, honestly. So it was like, I was home with him for a few years, and then I ended up getting divorced from my first husband, and then I went through kind of a wild phase again.
Yeah, again, you know? Tell us about your wild phase.
Okay, so, like, I just was like, you know, when you break up with somebody that you, like, thought you loved, like, you're, like, kind of mentally, and I'm already wild. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be wild. I'm going to be, I'm already bad. Like, yeah, I started drinking again, partying, hanging out with the same friends, doing the same shit. And then I met my second husband. And he's Hispanic, you know, and he sells drugs, so that's all he does. So that's all, and that's my girls' dad, my 2 younger girls.
Okay.
So I meet him, and I quickly.
You meet him. You're still in Seattle.
I'm still in Washington. Yes.
Washington. And
I meet him, and I quickly get into that. You know, like, I'd never been into selling drugs. You know, obviously I told you I never really, like, that wasn't my thing. Mm-hmm. And so, but, like, he's already selling drugs. This is what he's doing. Like, he's selling heroin, coke, like, everything. He, at that point, they didn't have any of the shit they have now, like, not fentanyl, but, like, so that's when crystal meth first came out too. Mm-hmm. That was, like, the beginning of it. No more crank, now it's crystal, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, he sells it all. So he's like, and this is what he's been doing for years, you know, his whole life.
He's your age as well.
Yeah, he's like 2 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
So he's like 46 now. So, like, but he's selling drugs. So I quickly got into that scene. He was like, well, you know, you could help. Like, he didn't really push me into into it. I pushed myself because I'm just a bad bitch.
You saw the
I'm just bad. Yeah, I'm like, fuck it. I'll take it for you. I'll do this. I'll do that. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I started like delivering for him or just dropping off. That way he was busy. I would do this or I'd hold on to this for him. But he wasn't like ever forcing it on me. He didn't really want me doing that. But that's just my lifestyle. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I just jumped quickly into that. And then little did I know that task force was watching me like for several months, you know.
Because of him as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have all his pictures.
They were already on him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, well, because he would go to, he'd come down to California. He would stay down here with his family and like kind of chill and do other work. And then he would go back there with a different name. Like, saying like the things that we think that would be sneaky, right?
Yeah, it's just us.
Absolutely. So we came up to California, lived for 3 months, went back there, and then they had already had charges on me.
And you already had money. You had money, so you were just living comfortably. You were just doing your thing.
Yes, I had a nice house, and I never sold drugs out of my house. He always told me, don't sell drugs. And I was always the type that I'm just a really nice person too. Like I felt bad for people who were on drugs. This is heroin then. This isn't even fentanyl. You know, like fentanyl shit. The fentanyl, you know, and heroin then, you know, people are sick. And I'm like, I believe them. They're sick. So I would like give them free, you know, like I'm just a nice person, you know. I still made money. I'm still nice. You know what I mean? It's like, I just felt for people because but thank God that wasn't my thing. But that's actually what I got busted for. So I got charges on trafficking for drugs.
Where were you trafficking?
Well, I was that's what they charged me with. It was actually called trafficking, but I didn't do interstate. So I was at times taking drugs from Washington to Virginia.
Oh.
And actually we got like a one time, this is before I got caught. So we were, I did it a couple times. So in my car, so I'm with these, you know, Hispanic, you know, some Mexicanos. So they were like taking it to
some of your own kind.
Yeah, exactly. So when we got like stopped in like Nebraska in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, and the police like in the middle of like cornfields and shit, they like pulled us over, asked us what we're doing. And they I'm sure they knew because they asked me if they could search the car. And I didn't have a bad feeling. Okay, yeah, like what am I going to say? No.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so like but they didn't find it, but they didn't bring the dogs because it was in the middle of like Nebraska, in the middle of like nowhere. Mm-hmm. But then the people were tripping. We got off to the next, we were almost to the next state, and they're like fucking tripping. Like, oh my gosh. But we did actually make it to Virginia.
You made it to your destination.
We made it to the destination, and I did it 2 times after that, and I stopped, and I had a bad feeling after that.
Because you just know. If
you just fucking know your intuition, mm-hmm. Yeah. And then those people got fucking busted. They did like 15 years in federal. Yeah, that could have been me. So yeah, so that was like I was always like doing the most, you know. But thank God that wasn't me. Like yeah. So all those people, there was like 4 of my friends. They did federal time. They did like 15 years for interstate trafficking.
Wow.
So, but then I did catch a charge, but it was it's called trafficking. So it's like Vesca and like I don't know what it's called here, but like it's like selling, you know, drugs. You know, you're selling. So like I was selling heroin. So I got busted for selling heroin.
How much did you have, or what were your actual charges, and where did you go? So
it's called Vesca. It's, you know, like selling drugs basically. I don't know exactly the actual like code or whatever, but mm-hmm. in Washington State, and it was for selling heroin. It was like an ounce of heroin. So I ended up going, and then when I got busted, when they set me up and they caught me, I actually had heroin on me.
Oh, so
you tried to hide it, but like that didn't work. So like I actually went in county because, you know, like first when they bust you, so they actually set me up and they pull me over. Wow. So task force surrounds my car, you know, and like there's like all these police and they're all in like, you know, they're in their task force uniforms. So I'm like, fuck, like I think I'm getting pulled over, and I'm getting pulled over, girl. I'm getting busted, like to go to jail. Like, yeah. So they take me to the police station. Of course, they ask you, you know, they tell you, like, do you want to tell on people? I don't know if that's I'm pretty sure it's the average.
Yeah, it's what they do.
Yeah, that's how they get all their people. Like the people are telling on everybody else, right? So they ask you that shit. No, so they take me to county jail. That's where I get busted with I had like an 8-ball of like heroin, but how do you hide that? You know what I mean? So I'm like, so then, you know, they actually take off your clothes. They want to search you. Then they find it. So then they put me in the hole.
Because you had it in your underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, because before when I'd been to county, they didn't, because it's not drugs. When I got busted for the car, they didn't like search me everywhere. They're like, okay, change your clothes. They're way more lenient, you know? So once you have a drug charge, it's a different story.
I've always been searched, so I don't.
Yeah, it's a different story. It's a really different story. They all need a cough, squat, like all that shit, right? Like bend over. You like
straight your fucking cheeks.
Yeah, everything. Yes.
4 times.
Yeah, behind your ears, everywhere. It's like, so I actually went to the hole for like a week. And like you have to do the Nutrilo, all that shit. That's not fun.
And how were you feeling? Because obviously you've been out for a while.
Oh my gosh,
you have your son.
Yes.
And what was your son at, and your kids at your mom's?
Yes, at my mom's. And I'm really heartbroken. Like yes. I was like broken at that point. Like I believe in God. Like, you know, I'm like, man, I need some help. Like for real. I was at my lowest, I feel like, at that point, honestly. Like that was like, because you're my son, he really needs me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And here I'm like, so yeah. So that was a real awakening for me. You know, so.
Do you think you did it for the money, or you did it just because you just wanted to?
I'm just a down ass bitch.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just a down ass bitch. I don't need to like. I was a type that was like always like down to do the most. You know, it's like obviously the guy's hot by the car. Driving it, you know what I mean? Like, why weren't they fucking driving it? They're the man. That was the man. The guy who was doing it. Hello, he's the man. I'm the woman. But I was always a down ass bitch. So like,
exactly
you know,
what you mean.
yes,
I know what you're saying.
And you're with a bunch of people, or like they're like, oh, hide that. You know, you're the one who's doing the most.
Like you're just a bad bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I feel like that's. I know this is kind of like a side little note, but like I feel like I'm not to glorify or anything, because everybody's like, damn, Negra's always glorifying shit, right?
Yeah.
That's the definition of a bad bitch.
Yes, absolutely. Because how many people do, even men, how many men do you know they're not even fucking down?
Honestly, these fools are weak.
Yeah, exactly. But women were always doing that. You know, if you're a bad bitch, you're fucking doing the most. So it was always my thing. And I never was like, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared, you know? So I was like.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. Until that moment.
Yeah. Well, you know, thank God, though. Like they. Well, you know, thank God that you had those emotions now. That you're like. No.
Yeah, my son, like having my son and then my daughter, like it was like, what have I done? Like for real? Because I had, for a few years when my son was sick and stuff, I had really lived more of a normal life. Whatever normal is. I don't even know. I don't even say not normal anymore, because I would not say my life now is normal, but it's good. You know what I mean? So like, but I lived a calm, like more of a mothering type of.
Just like a normal.
Yeah, like where you cook dinner, like, you know, you clean the house. I had my own place, more stable.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's the word.
Yes, a stable life, and I liked it because I was raised in that. So I had that in me, but yet it wasn't ever me. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like, but then I'm like, fuck, I'm in fucking trouble. Like, fuck, you know? And so I'm like, I'm going to fucking jail. Well, and I was thinking, oh, I'm not going to get that much. And then soon after that, I'm in county jail. And then I'm out of the hole after that. Oh, that was bad.
Tell me about that.
Oh, like they feed you that Nutrilo. Have you ever had that shit?
I don't know.
It's like the stuff they make. It's like to punish you. Like they don't give you regular food. They give you one fucking loaf, and it's enough to get you by nutrition wise. It's like being in the whole hole. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
And they don't let you shower. Like showering for 7 days. Not showering. Gross. Like, you know, like ew.
In a bird bath?
No. Yes, but like you. No, there wasn't even water in the room. They only took you out. Like if you had to go. Yes, you had to go to the bathroom. You had to fucking knock on the thing. It was very, very shut down. All you had is a fucking the concrete slab and a fucking blanket. That was it. And like
you were there like for how long? You said?
7 days.
Okay, those were probably the longest days ever.
Yes, thank God. But I was like, oh, I couldn't wait because I couldn't make any phone call. Nothing.
So your parents didn't even know anything?
Oh no, I did. I made my first phone call when I was in holding. Right?
Got it.
So when I was in holding, I called my parents. I'm like, please bail me out. They're like, no. So they're thinking I'm on heroin. They're thinking that I'm addicted to drugs. Because during like the time when I was selling drugs with my ex, he's not my ex, my second ex-husband. No, but when I was with him, I was like messing around. But like with like crystal, like I would try it. Like I didn't like coke. Definitely didn't like heroin. I've done heroin one time, and it wasn't on purpose. It was because someone put it on weed. That shit fucked me up.
Oh my God, I've never known anybody who put heroin on weed.
Yes. But I felt like shit was horrible. I could never. No, it's not my thing. Yeah. I've never been into that shit. You know what I mean? So thank God. But like I had messed with it, obviously. You know what I mean? Here and there. Like I was selling it. You know what I mean? So, but my mom's like, oh my gosh, you have a heroin addiction. Like she's thinking I'm on heroin. Because I had a lot of friends who were really addicted to heroin. Sad. I've lost friends to heroin addiction, to overdoses, several. You know, I've lost so many friends, you know.
I understand.
Yeah. So that was sad for me too. So, but my mom's like, hell no. Like, I'm not coming to get you. You need to learn your lesson. Because she knew I wasn't living right.
Yeah.
You know,
parents they know us more than we know each other.
Yeah. They think we're being fast. We think we're being fucking sneaky or like being stupid. Like they know what's up. You know, they see how we're living. Now I know because I have my own kids. So I'm like, I could see real quick. Mm-hmm. You know, so
try it if you want.
Exactly. So I ended up, you know, then I went to the regular housing unit, you know, get in my little pod thing. And then I see I see my ex, and he's who is, you know, is my husband. I was with him for like 22 years. So I see him, he fucking got busted too. So all of the whole, and so it comes out, like it's on the news, I'm part of a heroin drug ring, so I didn't look good either.
Oh,
so they announced my thing, they put my fucking picture on the news, and like, I'm like, oh, yes, like heroin drug ring, sounds bad. It sounds bad, right?
For sure.
So like my mom's really pissed. My mom's like I was raised in a really strict Christian home too. My mom and dad are very average, like never been in trouble type of people. So they're like, oh my God, this is my daughter. What is wrong with her? She's going to hell. You know, she's going to hell. Like literally. So like so it was tough on them, you know, like everything that happened. So, but yeah, so now reality really hits. So now I'm like, I think I was like 27, 28.
Oh, you're already getting a little older.
Yeah, I'm fucking going to prison, right? So I'm sitting on charges. I ended up, because I was already had so many, I had 9 juvenile felonies by the time I was 18, they use those as a half a point. Mm-hmm. So each of those half a point added up real quick.
To like a gang of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got charged, I got 72 months, so 6 years. So just on, and then like, for instance, like, but my ex, he only got like 24 months because it was his first charge. Mm-hmm. So I would have only got that if they hadn't used my juvenile record, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was the only, that was the downfall.
Yeah, that was the only down. Yeah, 72 months is a long time.
Yes.
So you got sentenced to 72 months, and while you were going to court, you kept seeing you would see your co-defendants and things like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you?
I did like a year in county.
Okay, and how was that 1 year? Same shit.
Yeah, horrible, like
same
horrible,
shit.
like same shit. Like you look like shit. Like you look like shit. You feel like shit. You don't see sunlight. You're so pale. Like
you didn't mess with girls.
Not then. No.
She said not then.
I think no, not really. Then I wouldn't have messed with anybody from county. I'm like, ew.
Kind of gross.
Yeah, gross.
No.
Hey, everybody's a mess in county.
No, honestly.
You know, because once you get to prison, you get cleaned up, right? Like not receiving, once you get like your package and shit, mm-hmm. like you get, okay, I got me back. Like you get, you know,
and you start even finding you.
Yes.
Like you get to know you because you're a mess when you're in the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And your family was there for you always.
Well, you know what too is I actually had bleached my hair blonde because I was on the run from the police. And so I had bleached my hair like blonde. Oh, that didn't work out. So I looked like a lion. I was like a lion. It was horrible. Or my hair was orange. I wish I could find my DOC picture. My fucking kind of, because I've always wanted to. Because for real. Because now where I'm today, and then I'm like, fuck. Like I really wanted to. We've been searching. When am I gonna find it? Because I had a little badge when I got out. I look like a lion. Because you know when you have dark hair. I'm sure if you've ever tried to bleach your hair, it doesn't bleach. Like it turns like. Ugly. Crazy orange, ugly. Like you gotta like, and then by the time you try to get it to the right color, it's falling out. So I was a total, ew, it was horrible. So I fucked up my hair because I had hair like down below my ass, and I just like I would bleach it like with 40 volume like peroxide with the bleach like 4 times in the same day. It was like falling out, like, but it was like still like so it was like it was huge and orange. I looked like a lion. So thank God I went to like, but so I got to prison, you get some hair color, you know what I mean, and your like you could get it in your package like.
Well, no, we didn't start getting. Well, I was in the Fed, so they didn't start. You weren't able to get packages or anything like that.
Okay.
So you just have to buy.
Yeah, that's true because my ex was in the federal prison recently. Like,
yeah,
well, yeah, he didn't. I did.
Yeah, recently, so that fool didn't stop his shit, huh?
Well, yeah, that's a whole other story. Yeah, but I remember I didn't get to send him packages. Like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, in Fed you don't do. That's yeah. In state, yes. In state, you get your packages. You get like.
And I'm sure you were a spoiled girl, always, still.
Yeah, but my parents were struggling then, so like I get my time, and actually I got part of a program too, which is a blessing. So like because meth was just recently out, they weren't giving any halftime on meth, but heroin, yes. So like it's a program called DOSA. So DOSA, like you do, you get halftime as well if you do a program, a drug and alcohol program. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll do it. But you know, but that's a good thing because like you take like a class, like a program. If you do the program, you successfully inside, and
it works.
Yes, and then you do your time like when you get out. You know what I mean, kind of. So like it's a hit and miss with people. Like it's like not the highest success rate. You know.
Yeah, like keep me in so I don't.
Yes, absolutely.
So you got your 72 months, and Where did you go?
It's a women's prison, the state prison, and it's in Tacoma. It's Purdy Prison, Purdy. Yeah, it's called Purdy. So then when shit gets
pretty
real,
girls?
Yeah, pretty girls. Some, some no.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So I go to prison. You know, like receiving's a real big. Now we're talking different, right?
Tell me about it.
So like receiving's fucking like I was like, oh my gosh, like. Like, cause in county, I don't know, like the county, I could shave my legs still. Receiving, oh, you're like a mess too. Like you're a mess. They don't let you have anything. You know, you're only out like what, an hour a day. There's crazy. Like, there's women in there that look like men. They're men. They have fades, everything. They look like big, and they're like just like trying to. And they're finding their next. Like they're like looking for their. You know, so they're looking at you, looking you up and down, like, you know,
they didn't make you.
Yeah, well, they're trying to, like, they're looking for their next sugar mama, like, literally, you know,
no, for sure.
Yeah, so like they're like, it's a whole new world, like, and they look like men, like big men.
No, they do.
You know, and so like you have all types now in receiving, and it shit just got real. Like you're like, I'm like. What is, and then that's like, you know, like 2 months of my life I'm spending there, like, and people are mean, they're fighting,
yes.
Like, you know, like you just do your best to try to get by, but that was my reality check, like, what the fuck am I doing, you know, again, another reality check, you know, but yeah, exactly, a few, this is it, this is the last time, yeah, they're like, yeah, for real, so, like, but I wasn't nervous. I'm good at like fitting in, like, I can hang wherever, like, I don't think I want to do it now. No, I don't think I know for real,
yes,
for real.
No.
But like then I was like, okay, here we go. You know, like I gotta woman up and handle my shit. You know, so you have to transform into what you have to be like to survive in that situation. Mm-hmm. So like I had to play the fucking part. This is what I wanted, right? So. Yeah, I mean, I think the first time calling my parents was hard, you know, like hard, and talking to my daughter because she's older now.
And then now you have 3 kids.
No, now I have 2 kids.
Okay.
So I have my oldest daughter, and then I have my son. And so like, and my son, you know, I want to say he was like 2 or 3 when I got locked up. Yeah, so he was like 3. He'd already had 3 open heart surgeries. So he had 3. So like it wasn't easy going. Yeah. Like, and thank God I was there for all of those major moments. You know what I mean? And that he was stable when I got locked up because
throughout the whole time.
No.
Oh my goodness.
No. So like I end up going in, and then they place you. You know, and you're in your certain pod, and it was, you know, I knew a lot of people there.
From your other places.
Yeah, I knew a lot of people there, so I felt like, okay, then you kind of start to fit, like, okay, I'm cool, like, this is good, I'm going to make this, I'm going to make that work. And at that time, you know, they give you a really far out date because my time was 6 years. Uh-huh. So, like, you know, they give you like the most extended time. They didn't give me my half time or like my time. Because
you weren't taking classes yet. You were just there.
Exactly.
You were just arriving.
Exactly. So it was way far out. I'm like, fuck. But what do? You just got to keep pushing, right?
Did you work out?
Yeah, I did, because when I was in county, I gained so much weight. All those snacks and like, oh my gosh, and you're not like doing anything. You're just sitting, like there's nowhere to walk, you know, there's nowhere to exercise, nothing. So yeah, I started working out, like started going, like walking the track, like things like that. So yeah, so then I went to like a different unit. So I went somewhere else. I got transferred to Spokane, Washington. So I went over there, and it's actually a co-ed, but you're not like, you don't involve yourself. Like they're on the other side. You know what I mean?
It's just the guys are on that side and the girls are on that side.
I mean, you could see them when you're like passing a movement or whatever, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You could see them like out your window or whatever. Like it's more like chill. Like I actually like, you know what? No matter where I've been at in life, I always make the best of it.
Nice.
So not that I loved it or enjoyed it, but it wasn't horrible either.
I understand what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like you have completely. To like Christmas and shit. You do what you got to do.
So tell me about how did you spend some of these holidays? Because every prison is, I feel like, obviously prison is prison, but every prison, and everybody has like their own little experience. Like, what did you guys do for the holidays?
Well, I mean, we ended up having, I always had a good time. Honestly, I mean, like, you know, like I had good cellies at the time. Like I liked I had two ladies who were with me. They were cool. They're older than me, so they like mentored to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I did the best I could do. You know, my parents would come to see me sometimes and bring my kids.
Okay, I was about to ask
And I had
you
one
that.
like the visit, the trailer, like the conjugal visit, but it's not like that. It's well with your family. Family visit
For like the weekend or just like the day?
for like a weekend.
Oh wow!
So I got to see my son and I got to see like my daughter and spend the weekend with my family, and it was hard to see them go.
I bet.
You know what I mean?
And how did you guys have to cook meals?
Yes, we got to do everything.
Because I've never had anybody tell us about women visiting, like
okay, so like your family, they get to bring in stuff and they do the search. Like it's obviously in a trailer too, right? So they bring it in. That you can bring food, but they go through like a stringent search. So they like waiting, and then they get to come and bring their stuff, and then you get to stay there for the weekend. Because over there where I was, it snowing, so there was like you couldn't like it
go
snows
outside.
A lot. It's like 4 seasons. It snows. It's like zero. When you're like doing movement, it's outside. Like it's like below zero.
Yeah.
I've never been in that weather. Below zero, I'm like it's cold as.
Oh yeah,
you know,
so
yeah,
it's been cold.
Cold.
Yeah.
And so like but like you get to spend like you just cook together, watch TV.
And the
like,
trailers are they big or are they small?
They're kind of small. They're like it was like 2 bedrooms,
So you slept with your kids and then they slept in their own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it was special to get to see my son and my daughter too. But it's hard to say bye. It's hard to say bye after you spend because they were so far away from where I actually lived, where my parents lived. It was like 8 or 9 hours and it was snowing.
Oh,
like I didn't expect them to come.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it was hard. Like so it was really hard to say goodbye, and especially with my son's situation too, because he was sick, So yeah, that was pretty much. You can just spend time with your family and one-on-one play. They have games and shit in there that you can play, and like movies and things. So like anybody gets to do that. It's really.
I mean, it's definitely a blessing.
It is, and it's good because you touch the outside and it gives you hope.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives you hope because I feel like a lot of people, especially with sad people, are in there who don't have hope. They don't have family. They don't have anybody to support them. That touches me.
No, I understand for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see my son for a while.
Yeah.
So I get it, Tell me, did you have pen pals?
No.
No, you didn't write letters.
No. Well, I did write to people. Like people would write me from like before I was in trouble, or like my mom's church friends.
Yes.
But you know what? This is my reality. That like none of those people who were my homies were my homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody was down for me. Who helped me? My parents. or my family. Nobody else cared, and that's when I changed. So yeah,
you realize that for sure.
So I did like a program when I was in there too. So I started a program, but then my son got sick. So then I got a medical transfer. Nobody gets a medical transfer. I don't know if they do them. I'm sure they do it for like certain circumstances. So my son got really sick with like he got pneumonia, and they didn't think he was going to live. So they transferred me back to Tacoma. So I was closer to my mom, to them. So that was really, really hard too. To things.
You weren't able to see.
No, I wasn't able to be with him. So yeah. I felt it's shameful to not be there for your children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, where's the mother?
And that's and it's hard to, you know what? I think that's why a lot of people don't change, is because those feelings are hard feelings to cope with.
Yeah.
As a mom, as a woman, right?
Yes.
Like where you're like, I really up. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why women keep doing what they do and don't ever change, because they can't deal with that shame, that guilt, those feelings. And that was you
got to be strong.
Yeah.
Like you're super strong.
Yeah.
Like myself, I could say I'm super strong.
Yeah, I'm definitely strong. All these circumstances that made me who I am.
It's okay to talk about it. Like, cool, you did it. You did it. Like, don't be a weak ass.
Absolutely.
Don't fall back because you can't handle the shit you did.
Yes.
Don't be a weak ass.
But I think that's the most part of it, where people are like, man, like I can't change this. They can't deal with that face.
Like, just suck the shit up and keep it pushing.
Absolutely.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself because ain't nobody gonna give.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And and I'm so glad that you say that, because this is that's like a major topic that people need to hear. Don't be weak. Accept what it is.
Yes.
Accept it. Your family accepts it.
Yes.
Why can't you?
Yes. Absolutely.
Stop hurting your family because of the decisions that you continue to make. And then, because I can't deal.
Yeah, get out of here, because that's some weak-minded shit. Like, we gotta woman up. Forgive ourselves first.
Yes.
Right? Forgive ourselves first, because if we can't forgive ourselves, we can't forgive anybody.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's a hard thing, but we all make mistakes.
Yeah, nobody is perfect.
No, nobody. No, I don't care where you come from. No one's so maybe some of us are a little bit worse than others.
Hey, but
who cares? Exactly.
Everybody has their own path that's going to lead them in whatever path you're going to go for your future.
Yeah.
As far as like your work or whatever, I feel like me, my path is what brought me for me to do this.
Exactly. And it's a lot of polarity. So when something really fucking bad happens, it means something more amazing is waiting for you.
Yes, and you have to exactly that.
Yes.
You have to. We know we can't always be on top. We got to come down to come back up.
Yes,
and it's a cycle, you know. Like
absolutely.
Like,
We can't always just be on top.
I'm in the bottom.
Yeah,
but hey, tomorrow's a different day.
Yep,
you know,
absolutely.
I'm gonna be bitchy today, but that's just today.
Yeah,
I'm in a good mood today. I don't know how I'm gonna be tomorrow.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Like that, you know?
Exactly. You know, and that's why I think a lot of people, these women, they don't change. But man, you have kids, like you have people who are counting on you. You have to make a change, you know,
for yourself, because like you said, if you don't change for you're not gonna do it for your kids.
It's only temporary, and that's what I found. Like with myself, like it was always only temporary because I was doing it for everybody else.
Yeah.
I wasn't like either changing my entire situation or I was doing partial. Yes. You know, here and there.
No partial shit.
Yeah, no.
You know, you're either gonna do the complete around, but you don't plan on doing it completely around. It just happens. Like, okay, you know what? Today, it really is true what they say. It's really one day at a time.
Absolutely.
It
still is.
And no,
it still is.
You know, it's like what I just said. Like, hey, I'm bitchy today, but tomorrow I'm not. Or today I'm bitchy, but who knows? I'm gonna be
life.
Tomorrow.
We're like emotional. Women are emotional, and it's like, but it's okay because we're also like it's a blessing being a woman and being a mom, right?
Yeah.
But people miss out on that because they feel shameful for what they've done. You gotta like keep it pushing. Yeah, look past that shit.
It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is. Like even for like things that we've done to our, we put our kids through. Like, my son doesn't throw it in my face anymore.
Good.
Before you were in here, but now it's like, fool, don't throw it there because you're not going to use that.
That manipulation. Because you're stronger than that. You know what's up.
You know what it is. We've been out for a while. It ain't like that no more.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Because you can't change the past. No. We can't change the past. But we can make a better future.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like with my kids, it was hard. Like with my daughter, like I was like 12 or she was 12 or 13 when I got out. And she did the same shit. She'd throw it in my face. She would give me guilt trips. It was a manipulation factor for her.
For their benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, hey, you know what? And one person always told me, and when I was in the classes in prison, I don't parent out of guilt. Don't parent out of guilt. And that was with me all the time. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm not a parent because I feel guilty about what I did in the past. Yeah. Because I'm a new person today.
And in the beginning, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because
you get it. You get it because you're like, man, I did put you through hell.
But now
I did fucking put you through all of this. Yeah. And like, okay, now you're doing too much.
Yeah. Like, bro, calm down.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
ain't suffering, fool. And you didn't even suffer when I was gone.
Yes.
You were with the best, you're with your grandma and everything was good.
Right.
But
right?
still, obviously we have that guilt.
Yes.
So, sorry to cut you off right there.
Yeah, you're good.
Let's go back to, so you get the medical transfer, you're going through this with, back to the guilt. Like, we can't be there you weren't there to be there for him while he's going through more. You said he had liver. No, what do you say?
No, he had a pneumonia. So I get transferred back to Tacoma to a pre-release, and they're not going to let me out. I still have to do my time.
Yeah.
But I'm closer just in case something happens. I think that's the reasoning. Like obviously, and so like nothing really changed. I'm just a different location.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get anything different or better. So I'm like, I'm cutting hair because I had cut hair before I went in. So
okay. That's how you were getting your surviving.
I'm just doing my thing. Like. And when I'm in there too, like I had a girlfriend for a portion of the time. She looked like a boy. Her nickname was Boy. So like she was. But I also was working on myself too. So I did I read the Bible a lot. I read a lot of books. Try to learn as much as possible. I try to stay out of bullshit. You know what I mean?
I feel like once you start doing that, it's when you start working on yourself.
Yes.
Once you,
I knew I wanted to be different. I was like, I'm over this shit. I cannot do this anymore. With my son's situation, I was like, I have to be a different person. Yeah. I have to be a different person. I have to. Whether it, even though being bad is in me and I've always been in trouble, like that. Because the problem is that I was always labeled that too. So you start to believe that shit because it's true. Like I was always in trouble. People were like, oh, you're the bad seed. You're the outcast. You don't fit in. I didn't fit in with anybody. I didn't fit in with my family. I was the first one to go to jail, first one to go to prison, but like I was always that. So that was inset into my mind and my beliefs, so I was really hard to break that cycle for myself because I was already that. I felt that, so I had to change all of that. So like people, places, and things, I cut off people first. You know, like, of course I still talk to like talk to very few people from there, like the people who were down, like who I was friends with before I was like really in trouble or in the midst of, but they're not like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But most of them are dead or in prison still, like, honestly. But like, I really had to cut. That was my first thing I cut. So I'm in pre-release over there in Tacoma. And then finally I get transferred to work release. And I know they don't have that here because I've been trying to find people to work for me for work release. I love work release because you're guaranteed that those people are going to show up for 6 months to a year for sure. Because they're committed. Because if they don't want to go back to prison, you're going to fucking work. It's like, I think it's similar to the halfway houses they have, right? Like you do like I
think you can probably get people from the halfway house.
I need to. If you have any, I love.
Well, we'll figure it out. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to work.
No, for real, because this is what I'm trying to do.
Right now, we're like my husband and I. We even got a little argument last night in bed, like, hey, we need to like do more on like because we go live on Wednesdays,
right?
And give people resources of
I would love to help. No, I'm serious too.
Yeah, well,
yes,
we need to give people like more resources of what they need to, if you're getting out of prison or for like jobs, and things like that. I have been trying to find people to work for me. I'm telling you, I've been asking so many people who are in the industry. Like I've been talking to people who work for Homeboys. Like I really am, but I'm yet to get like a direct because I would love to help women because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be a mom. I know what it's like to be up. I know what it's like to keep up, but you need to sound like a non-profit kind of thing. Yeah, like for real, because I know that people get out, they don't know where to work. It's hard to find a job. People label you if you have tattoos. People label you if you have a criminal history. People label us regardless. It's the way you look. Yeah. I hate to say, but it's true. I mean, it's just honestly true. People just and fuck it, but whatever. We have to but that's different when you work for yourself. Yeah. Right. But when they're newly out, I feel like they're not as confident. So especially
people
when they do so long.
Yes. And they're like, maybe they lost their kids or I don't know, like things are tough, but it's hard. It's not, if you still have life, you still have a chance.
Most definitely.
So that's my heart, like in some point to help women, you know what I mean? Like to help them rehabilitate their lives, to reestablish and be reestablished in the society, you know what I mean? Where
I feel like one of the main things is they need to realize that it doesn't happen until years.
No, it's time. It's time because it took a long time for me.
You're not and I feel like that's what sets people back as well.
Yes,
they want to get their car in first year. I mean, you can probably do that, but
yes,
bro, you're not. It gets worse.
Yes.
It gets worse when you get out.
Yeah, it does. Because you're fucking down and out. You're like, fuck, I don't have anything. I got to get everything again. You have that I want a fast and easy mindset. What am I going to do to fucking get the money? Then we start. It's a thought process. It's the mindset. Yes. To reset all of that shit.
Yes.
To rethink whatever normal is, right? But absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you took the...
and work release. When you go to work release, it's the same thing as being in prison. It's way more freedom. So you basically, until you get a job, you can't leave the facility. They let you leave at the time, to go find a job, but you have to there's there's certain limitations. You go out for an hour, you have to come back. They let you walk or ride a bike, literally, to go. You obviously can't get a ride. You could apply online there, but back then it wasn't really online at that point. You know what I mean? So I easily found a job because I already knew people. So I found a job. I had 3 jobs. Fuck, I worked my fucking ass off in work release. So
you're not back in the prison?
No, I'm fucking working because I like to make money, and I've always been a very hard worker. That's one thing I give my parents. I'm a very fucking hard worker. I'm always the hardest worker in the room. I'm not fucking lazy, so I'm let's get it. I just didn't, so I'm waitressing. I had one job. It was 9 p.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning. I had to ride a bike there in a fucking skirt. I don't wear skirts. Ride a fucking bike, and it's the middle of the night, so it was cool though, because it was at a bar, restaurant, a diner type thing. So people would be partying. Well, I wasn't partying, didn't party because, you know what I mean?
But you're vibing.
Yeah, I'm vibing. I know people come in, I know people, it's cool. And then they come there to eat after where I'm working after the bar closes. So it was open all night, 24 hours. So that's one of my jobs. And then I would go home, I would go back to the facility, sleep a couple hours, and I'd go to my next full-time job. So I worked a lot of restaurant jobs. So and then I was working another job part-time on the weekends. So I was working 70 hours a week. I wasn't playing.
You were giving them the money though, huh?
Yes. No, not all of it.
'Cause you're getting paid cash.
I was having my my tips. I'd have my dad or my ex-husband, my second ex-husband, my daughter's dad, come and pick up the tips. I was fucking making good money. That's how I got my car when I got out.
Nice. So you saved it. Yeah.
Yeah. So see, I'm still thinking the same way though, like still being sneaky, right? Okay, I'm not doing it because they take all your money.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. You got to do what you got to.
Yeah. So I was doing that, but guess what? So I end up pregnant in work release. Yeah, so I end up
With your husband.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first time that I see, okay, so he gets out of prison. I don't even want to talk about this
Because he got 24 months.
Yeah, no, but he lost everything because of him.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was fuck you, I don't want to see you. Well, I wasn't really talking to him. He was like sending me third party, like he was having his friends send me in letters from him in prison. So I was getting them, and I was ignoring. I wasn't responding. He was sending me money, things like that. But I was like, him, like I'm good. So like you're
blaming him because you wanted to be down.
Yeah, but I was. I don't even want to be him. This motherfucker is with my dad, sitting at the restaurant I work at, like literally right when I get out, because I quickly get a job. And I'm like, and then I was like, okay, fuck it.
You
like
saw him.
And he wanted to change, you know. He was like, I want to change. At that moment, he wanted to change. You know, he was like, I want to change. Let's not do the same thing. Let's, you know. And I was like, okay, like, so I ended up pregnant in work release. I'm like, like I'm pregnant, and like but I didn't tell anybody at work. And tell anybody at work release because I'm in jail. I'm still in custody.
Like
you know
shouldn't
what I mean?
be having sex.
Yeah.
Kind of
so like I'm like, you get to go home too. You get to go.
Okay.
You get to go home, but I don't think you're supposed to. But no one really knew like if you could or not, because people were like they could send you back to the main prison, like because there's like I don't know about federal, but there's an area in state prison, the women's prison, where the people have their children, like, and you keep the child. I think you'd have them till they're like 2.
Oh, wow.
They're 2, yeah.
I think I've heard about them in prisons, yeah.
Yeah, where they actually you have to keep your child. So if you get locked up when you're pregnant, or you're like, obviously when you're pregnant, that's when you get to keep your child. So they have the child there until like a certain age. But I was like scared, I was like, fuck, because I still had all the time against me because I had this program, right? So I'm out like, because I'm like getting out because I had the program. So I had 3 years over my head. So I'm like, what if I get sent back? I have to have the baby there, and I didn't know. So I hid my pregnancy for like 7.5 months.
Oh, wow.
So I'm 7.5 months pregnant, but I didn't see a doctor, but I'm taking my vitamins. I'm not partying. I'm taking care of myself. I'm eating right.
You're just working.
Yeah. But I didn't see a doctor. And I was there, like, so 7.5 months I was like, I would just wear baggy clothes. And it was weird how things happened because I didn't look huge pregnant, like with her. That was my one child I didn't, like it was weird how like everything works out the way it's supposed to, right? So like, they just thought I was getting chubby. Girls get chubby in jail. So like I'm 7.5 months pregnant. So I'm pregnant, riding a bike. Works all these people out here who have these excuses why they can't make it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't have a ride today. I'm like, girl, you live 10 minutes away. Feel me? Yeah. Like, people have so many excuses. I'm like, I was doing the most to make sure I was still doing the most to get out.
Yeah.
So like, of course, at that time I'm pregnant. I followed the rules. I think I lost like 30 days good time. So I did like 7 months in work release, but then I'm pregnant. Yeah. Yeah, crazy.
So what happened?
So like I ended up getting out, and
you were good with the 3 years. Like nothing happened.
No, because I didn't tell anybody. So I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know. Like I didn't.
Your parents knew? Nobody.
Oh, my parents knew.
Okay.
But no one else knew.
What about baby daddy?
Yeah, he knew.
Okay.
He knew because he was like he's living at my house
and
with my parents.
And you're like pregnant.
I'm pregnant. Yeah. Yes. And I was like, do my job. Like I just worked and I was managing a restaurant. Because I knew this lady, so I was managing her restaurant. So I already had a management job when I got out. I was, like I said, I was always the hardest worker, and I was working the other like job. When I got out, I quit the diner job like that.
The
like,
bike one.
He would actually come and pick me up. He would come pick me up and I would come get me because I would take me to work. He would beat me around the corner. I could throw the bike in the back. Off of the car and go to work. Like it was cool. Like I was always doing that. Like, yeah, I was doing he would help me, and he would come and sit there at work, but we have to be careful, obviously, but yeah. Like it worked out. Everything worked out.
Thank God.
So I get out and I'm on really strict parole. So like the parole, like I'd have to call in, like if it called your number, you have to go UA. Like it was like strict, like I like kind of like the drug court type of thing, right? Like where they're like I had to check in like 5-6 times a week at the beginning, and then slowly as you follow the rules, but they weren't around. around. They'd show up at my work, show up at my house. Like my parole officer was trying to put me back in jail. She didn't give a fuck.
I think that's like their job.
Yeah, she was like just a mean, like rough looking bitch, like for real. Like she was miserable. I couldn't stand that bitch. I was like, you. And one time I went after I had my daughter, like
did she question you?
She questioned everything. Like
where did this baby come from?
No. No, okay. Never. But I was scared to go like to the doctor, so I made my appointment to go see the OBGYN or whatever, like right after with the doctor, and I was scared that like maybe they'd call CPS on me because I didn't go have any prenatal care. I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm in my 3rd trimester with no prenatal care. I was taking vitamins, but what do you do? So I fucking go to the doctor, but they didn't say anything. It ended up being all good. I had my daughter. She's now 18. Like, I didn't tell her she was a jail baby. You know what I mean? Like, in like years.
She wasn't a jail baby. She wasn't even born in jail.
I know, but yeah, well, kind of. She was conceived in jail. But like, honestly, I feel like she really changed my life, because I don't know if it wasn't for her, I would have really changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, I was like, okay, now I have my oldest daughter, I have a handicapped child, and then now I have another baby. What the it's time to get your shit together, bitch. For real, like real quick. Yeah. And so like I got out. It wasn't easy, like you said. It wasn't easy. It was tough. Like, I mean, there's points in time where I couldn't afford my $400 month rent to rent a room. Like, that's crazy, like surreal, like,
yes.
Like shit was real. Like, you get out, you lose everything, so you got to regain everything back. You feel like shit. You people still look at you the same way, like you're still the same fuck up, right? Even though you're trying yeah, exactly. So like you got rebuild people's, and not that people's opinions matter, but they kind of do. Like when you're in society, they do hurt. It does hurt, and that's why it's easy for people to go back to the same shit, right? Like we do the same shit because it's easier. It's more comfortable. Comfort is easy.
It's easy. You don't got shit to do.
Exactly. You got to fuck it up, like whatever. So like I quickly like. I started, just working hard. Like I worked, but then the baby daddy, my ex, he was like, he came and asked me when I was still in work. He's like, I'm ready to make real money again. I was like, you're like, I'm good. Like, I don't care if I have to work for a minimum wage, which back then was like, I don't know, $7-8.
I was about to say that.
I was like, fuck. Like, I was like, I'm cool. Like you could do it. If that's your life, you could fucking choose it. Like, and I'm so glad that I changed then and I said no to that, because it was so like me not to. You know what I mean?
That's how you knew you were growing already. Yeah. Probably.
And it was hard, because I was like, I'm not doing this shit. This is not worth it. It's such a lie. Like, you're gonna make what? I'm gonna sell drugs and make how much money? Enough to lose that many years of my life?
Yeah.
Like, my family is out here. It doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody. It's a ripple effect. It affects everybody. So I'm like, there's not enough money. Look at El Chapo. He's sitting in fucking prison. You think he's saying it's worth it? I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? No human contact. For me, I don't know. No, like, for me, right? I don't know. So it's like money, like that little bit of money, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
So like, I just chose not to. So I did do well. Like on my, I changed my associations. I changed, like, obviously people, places, and things. I wasn't doing the same shit. I wasn't really even drinking. Like, I didn't really party. I breastfed my daughter for like 4 years. She was like tiny, so I breastfed her. Like,
the breastfeeding helped.
It did, because I wasn't partying. I knew that. Like, I didn't even drink for like 7 years. Like, I was like chill, which is crazy for me, because I told you I like to party.
Yes.
Right. So, so I'm like, I just became different. And like, with that, my son was going through a lawsuit with like the hospital and stuff because of what happened. Yes. So I had a lot on my plate, like, so I was like, I had to fucking be responsible. I had a lot going on.
You had no choice.
Yes.
I mean, technically you could have just been like, whatever, but
had I would have been fucked up. If I would decide where I am today.
Yeah.
You don't like really see that shit. We can't visualize anything. You know what I mean? When we're being fucked up, like that's half of the battle, is to visualize yourself in a better place. Yeah. Right. Like, to be able to feel like you're worthy enough to be somewhere else and better place. Right. Mm-hmm. So like I started going through all these court proceedings. I ended up pregnant with my youngest daughter, who's now 15. I was going through the court proceedings. And ended up using that shit against me too. So what happened with my son, like, he wasn't my fault. It was the hospital's fault. They fucked up. You know what I mean? But they had to go through all these, where they're like interrogation, where
they say the worst of the worst.
They fucking bring up everything, and they make it feel like it's your fault. And I'm like, he died at your hospital because you didn't fucking check the ventilator. Like, he like had a blockage with the ventilator, but they want to not take part in that. Mm-hmm. They want to blame it on someone else. So, and they don't want to have to pay. So like I was going through all these things. It was hard. Like they were the way they were coming at me. They brought up all my criminal history. I mean, this is in front of like a huge team of attorneys, you know, that were represented the hospital. So and it was in the Supreme Court of Oregon. So like it was a big deal. So but it was a growing moment for me. It was very growing. Like it, you know, and like my son won the case. He changed laws in Oregon State because of his situation with the hospital. So that was good. You know, I ended up having my youngest daughter. You know, so and I was more stable, obviously, at this point. And that's when I moved to California. So once my son got the lawsuit, like I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of this bitch.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we need to do that. And I don't think that it's good to run away from problems, but like me changing, like
it's helped you.
Yeah, quantum leap. I just jumped into a new timeline. You know what I mean? Like I did change. And when I came out here, I saw much more, like a lot more opportunity to raise my daughters, you know? So, because my older daughter was already pretty, you know, she was like 16, 17.
So how long have you been in California?
It's been about 15 years.
Okay.
So my youngest daughter was a baby. So I've been out here about 15 years, and I moved out here while the weather was better for my son.
By yourself?
Yes. Yeah. No, I moved out here I was married at the time to my husband.
Your second.
So, and I brought my parents too. So
I
brought everybody because they've always helped me with my son, you know? So I brought everybody out here, and, you know, life has been good. It hasn't been always easy.
Definitely.
You know, I did catch a charge about 5 years ago. Yes. But it was over some stupid bullshit. So it was over. I did catch a charge that, like, now I'm getting it removed, like, from felony to, like, a misdemeanor.
What'd you do?
I, like, so I filed attempted to file a false insurance statement. So never do any insurance shit. Like, that fucking shit, fuck no. I actually got they fucking had me on, like, some crazy, they didn't even know my Washington state history. So they had no clue, and I didn't tell them.
No,
I didn't tell that shit.
Different states.
Yeah, I had attempted to file. I had filed a false insurance statement and a police report, but I took it back because I get nervous. I know better.
Now you get nervous.
Yeah, I fucking called my insurance. I was like, no, never mind. And so I never got a dime. This is the crazy part. I never got a fucking dime. I ended up, like, someone had crashed the car in Mexico. Fuck, they already know. Fuck that. So I got scared like 6 days later, so I took it back, right? And then 3 years later, the fucking California State Insurance Fraud Department comes knocking on my door, and I live in Orange County. I lived in the high desert. I lived in San Bernardino County.
Okay.
So I don't even live up there anymore. And that's where it happened. He comes knocking on my door. Well, they want fucking money, of course. So they're like, the guy's like, I'm going to put you, like, he like literally was talking to my assistant at the time. And he was like, well, yeah, well, she's going to be charged with these charges. He's going to charge me with all these felonies. Girl, like, I was tripping. Like, I was like, fuck, no, like, I'm not like the same person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm scared. Like, I'm going to be honest. I was fucking scared because now I'm a completely different person, right? I'm living in a good lifestyle. I have my own company, and I'm like, fuck, for real. And so I ended up like, this happened over 8 years ago, mind you, but they came back years later. So I ended up having to do, I hired an attorney immediately, the best attorney. And I got, and like they put like a warrant out for my arrest for like $300,000. Like $300,000? Like, what the fuck? This is like stupid. You know what I mean? You don't even put it out for like people who are on, you know, attempted murder. Like, you know, like you're doing the most.
Yeah.
And then, so my attorney ended up, I show up at court, like we get it squashed. They love me up there. Because I'm like being like respectful. I have my shit together now.
Yeah.
And they know that in the reports, they know that my son has problems. So they're very compassionate towards me. But I still have to jump through the hoops. So I ended up filing, I pled to like one guilty for one felony. But that felony can be
removed.
It is dismissed now, but I'm taking it back to court now to get it to change to a misdemeanor.
Got it.
So I pled to that, so it would change. Not that it matters that I work for myself, but I want to get my real estate license, so it kind of does matter.
So where are you at now? Like, what are you doing?
So now, okay, so 10 years ago, I know, so 10 years ago, so what's crazy is my daughter's in a dance. So my daughter who's 18, the one I was pregnant with in work release, I started, she was in a dance. So like she was really big in the dance industry. Dance is huge out here in Southern California, you know. And
what kind of dance?
Like, you know, like contemporary ballet. So she's in competitive dance. So we travel all over the world, you know what I mean? She's like really, really good. So she, she is, so I got into that world and I was like, oh, I'm going to create cute dancewear. I was like, I need something to do from home because my son's sick. I can't leave. You know what I mean? I couldn't really work full time and I'm bored at home.
But you are still working though.
Yes.
Because obviously you need to, no, not you, but I mean like,
well, no, now and that this time the trust, my son's trust fund paying me to stay home. But I can't stay at home because me bored.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay.
Me bored at home. I did it for 8 years. I was going crazy. That's just trouble for me.
Got it.
That's just like I'm already a trouble person. Like I'm already crazy anyway. I need to be doing something actively that makes me feel like good and that I'm busy, right?
Yes.
So I start this company, but I thought it'd be for fun. It's called Candy Couture. So like I started it for fun. Like I was like, oh, this would be so much fun. Like I like to design things. I've always been really creative, right? So I started the company and it just kind of blew up. And it blew up so fast that I was like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't go to fashion school. I didn't know what I was doing. I just paid attention and I just was really determined. I didn't fucking give up. And I just kept just doing it, flipping my money. It's kind of like selling drugs. It's the same shit.
No, it is.
It is. It's the same thing, but in a positive, good way, legal way, right? And so like, I like, yeah, it was crazy. So now...
So you make ballet little clothes.
Yeah.
Tutus and things like that.
Now it's a full-time job. We have like 2 locations. Everything's Eyekon, but we sell to brick and mortar stores all over the world. Like it's crazy. We hit 7 figures a couple years ago. Like,
good for you.
Yeah, so like it's crazy though. It's very surreal to think that like I got my shit together.
Yes.
And so like that's been like my thing. So that's my main job, you know?
That's your job.
So I've been doing that, and then now I'm also working on mentorship and doing coaching. So like for business and for personal development. So like I said, it's always been my thing to help people. Well, I've always been that person anyway. Mm-hmm. Even when I was fucking up, people come to me for, and I'm like, why are you asking me? But I'll tell you, but I'm not going to maybe live that way. Right. So, but I've always been that type of person. My energy, I love to help people. I go everywhere I go, I talk to people. Like I love to help people if I can. And it's like, so I want to do that. So I've recently gotten into that. So it's been kind of on my heart. That's why I started sharing my story about prison. Because when my kids were younger, it was harder, you know? Like especially they were in dance. My daughter was on TV. So I didn't want people to know. Yes. And then it came out on the news.
How?
Because I was on a show. Like I was on a TV show with my daughter. And it came out on the news. On that radar, it said heroin dealer, like all this shit. And I was like, oh my gosh. And my girls didn't know about it. I run to wake them up. We lived in Mexico at the time. And I'm like, Mexico? Well, I had part of my business there. And then, because my ex in the meantime, when I started my company, he went to federal prison. So he was locked up for like 6 years. So I was doing this shit all on my own. I had nothing. I was like, man, I don't have help. Because he was my main help with my son, you know? He'd help me take care of my son.
Okay, so but your main income was like because of the money because of your son?
Yes.
Got it.
I got paid like a regular paycheck, like just to take care of him. Like if I was the nurse, you know what I mean? I didn't get like a lump sum or a settlement or anything like that.
Got it.
So like some states, they do that for like pain and suffering. I didn't get any of that. I got like just a paycheck. So, I mean, it was okay, but not enough when you live in California.
Yeah, no.
Fuck no. It's like you got to make really good money in order to, you know what I mean? So like he got locked up, but it was over some bullshit. So, but he was abusive, you know what I mean? So that's why I left him. He was abusive. It might've been every 5 years, but he was still abusive to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm fucking grown for this. I'm too grown for this. Like I have too much self-worth, self-respect. I got go, what am I teaching my daughters? Because I'm very strong-minded. Like my daughters look up to me a lot, you know, and they honor who I am as a mom, as a woman. And so I'm a hypocrite to say that and then stay with the man who's putting his hands on me. Facts. But I did it for them. So I stayed with him when he was in prison for 6 years. He got like re-entry charges and did the federal time. Got it. So when he was deported, because he didn't have papers, we all moved to Mexico. I had a house here in Orange County, but I mostly lived in Mexico. So he got out and I had this big house, but I'd already started my company. He thought I was like selling drugs again. I'm like, I'm not selling drugs. I'm selling dancewear. You know, like now I have my shit together, you know? And then he's a hard worker too. So he got in and we like started hustling together and it worked out. But then he was still the same, you know, and it kind of gets worse in Mexico because there's no laws, you know, sure. Like, and when he's drinking, he's abusive, and I respect him. He gave me my beautiful 2 daughters. So I have a lot of love for him, but like it just didn't work out for us. You know, what it is. You know, and like I said, I'm not going to be hit by a man. No, I'm good for sure. So absolutely not. So
you know, you've been through so much by choice because you were bad.
Yeah. Why the want to stay in that shit.
Yeah,
like I'm like, no, I'm fucking too good for this shit.
Especially when you're doing well and you're okay mentally, you know?
Well, and it was hard though to leave him though, because it was so intertwined, because my business, he, was so involved with him too in Mexico. So like we were doing most of the business out of there. We were manufacturing mostly everything there at that time.
Got it.
And so like when he told me, you can never leave me, I helped you build this company, make you feel like shit. Like I'm like, watch me.
Like this has been built before you got out.
I'm like, watch me do it. And it was hard though, so it was a transition that I wasn't sure about. Like, and I started manufacturing, like now it's like 98% over here in the United States. So it was crazy, but it took the first year was hard. Like I was like, how am I going to do this? Am I going to mail them? You know what I mean? A lot of questioning, stability. What about the stability? I got to be stable with my company too.
Yeah.
So, but it all worked out. You know what I mean? It all worked out. And it's like, the hindsight, if I would have looked at, like, if I would have continued doing what I was doing then, I would not be where I am today.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
For
so
sure.
I'm like, so now I'm okay about speaking about it. Now my daughters know. They're not like...
It takes time.
It does take time.
To open up.
Yes. And I wanted to raise them in a better home. I didn't want to raise them like I had before. Like for my younger, my oldest daughter, it had affected her, like watching me leave, go to jail and all of those things. And I get it now, And so like now, it's crazy how things evolve, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful. That's why I'm so happy to be here today.
No, I'm so happy that you're here.
And yeah, like, it's like I want to tell my story.
And people are going to watch and girls are going to know that it's okay.
Yes. And if you ain't shit, if you don't have shit going on for you, I started my company with $500. $500. And I didn't have credit. I didn't have financial backing. I didn't get a loan. I had horrible credit.
Yeah.
I didn't have my family didn't have money. I told you they were struggling from the time because they helped me with my sons. My mom like retired early, so like they didn't financially have money. Like so, it wasn't like anybody was here backing me with money. Like no, I did it for like the hustle.
And you didn't stop. That's the thing. Like. You continue, like even for myself with the teeth whitening business that I have. Like,
yes.
I've been doing it for 4 years.
I love it.
Almost five. And it's, sometimes it's not consistent, but I'm still not giving up.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. You don't give up.
It's the people who give up because people start something and they're like, oh, it's not busy. I'm just going to stop. I'm like you're fucking giving up short of what could be your...
You ain't going to be booming. Like, it might boom your first year.
Absolutely.
But it's goes like this,
yes, it goes like that, but we got to keep it pushing. We got to figure out what works, what's the best for us, and like that's the thing with me too, is I started getting to like the manifestation like the last couple of years, and that totally changed my financial situation.
It works.
Yes. So when you start believing in yourself, feeling that knowing that you're worthy, and you live in like with good intentions, like everything just changes.
Yes,
it's crazy. So that's what really changed, and it's like now it's like I'm so happy because before it would kind of suck. Like my son's trust fund paying me. It was like I didn't want to just live off that. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that's for my son. That money is for his lifetime. And he's almost 26 and he's still here. So I'm like, he doesn't walk, he doesn't talk, but he's fucking happy. That boy is so happy. He's like seriously an angel, and he is like very, very special. And like he's like
he's here.
Yeah. So it's like everybody looks at me like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, I'm not because he's happy. Like
he's alive and he got everything. And
if it wasn't meant to be, he wouldn't be here still.
That's right. Right.
Like I watch him. He's been through so much. He's been sick a lot. And we've done a lot of hospital stays, and I just keep it fucking pushing. And I've been upset sometimes, and sometimes no. But you know what? When I'm in the ICU with him, or I'm in the hospital, what am I doing? I work because it makes me feel good.
Because you got to work.
Because you have to replace things, the negative things, with something positive.
That's right.
If I'm sitting there, I could be depressed. Oh my gosh, poor me, feeling bad for myself, playing the victim, or I could do something with my life. And so like I chose to just make the best of it. Yes. What can I do? I can't change it, but I can make it better.
That's right.
That's
right. I love it. Yes, I love it. Well, we're obviously gonna, put the name of your store if that's what you want to do. We're gonna tag you. So there's a lot of dance moms out there.
Yes,
which you already know. You don't even need the tags because you're living and you're doing it.
Thank you so much, though. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Is there anything else that you would want to share that you haven't shared before we end?
Well, I just want to offer like hope to women. You know what I mean? Like just hope. Like when we have hope, there's a little glimpse of something that can make anything possible, like for me. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there, especially women who are addicted to drugs, who are in prison, or maybe just recently, or maybe have lost their kids, that not to give up, that to find someone, find positivity, because when we are what we are around, right?
That's right.
So like if we like continue just to only see what we see in the moment, maybe that's not good. That's all we're going to see. So find somebody to, like find that hope, positivity, like whether it's podcasts or, you know what I mean? I just want to offer hope to people. That's why I told you I want to help people. Like I really do. That's my next mission. Like, it's like
we could figure,
absolutely. I'm down.
Steps. I feel like for me, this is like first step. Like when I get calls on Wednesdays, I take calls and they call and they're like, we love what you do. You've helped me. Yes. You've helped me even get off opiums, thank you. Like, I'm just like, I guess this is what well,
it's meant to do. Like, look at what you're doing. You're already like reaching out to people. I don't even know what I'm doing.
I know I'm just sitting here.
But it's your calling because it feels good. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I know it's it, because the same thing I told you before, I couldn't hold down a job, right? Because it wasn't meant to be.
That's right.
When we find our passion, we follow it, it feels good, it feels right, and then we don't give up. And it's like, you love doing what you do. Yeah. And that's
every day I'm like, but I'm like, no,
but it's still,
I have to, but I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, no, bitch, like, what are you saying to yourself? Like, I have to self-talk when I don't want to, like, and it's,
because we're women too, we already think like that.
And I love sitting here and I enjoy it, but then when I have like, no, we need to start doing this, or like, no, like, this is what's working for me, this is what makes me feels comfortable, like, obviously I do have to probably do certain little things, or not to hear, like, you get what I'm saying, just for Indicted TV. Yes. But I'm like, okay, obviously doing things different is a little uncomfortable, but you have to be uncomfortable
to grow. Absolutely. That's the main thing. Yeah. We have to, like, people don't want to get past that uncomfortable, and then they stay the same. We can't be stagnant. We can't stay the same, because then we're in the same old shit and we'll be like 70, 80. And not that that's too late either.
It's never too late.
But you know what? But we don't know how life is short. Yeah. You know that. Like, especially when you come like from that type of lifestyle, life is fucking short. Yeah. So if we have only today, tomorrow, or this year to make ourselves happy to live, because if we're not happy inside, you can't make anybody happy.
Oh, no.
So like, it's important that we definitely use time wisely, for sure. Every moment counts.
Every moment.
Yes.
I love that.
I know. I love it. I was so happy to be here and that you had me. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. Somebody tagged me on one of your, I don't know what it was. It was like one of your...
My prison, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And then I messaged you right away, right? And then...
I had that recorded for over a year, that clip. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I like, it's like everything. I was like, I don't know if I like it. I don't like the clip. What if it's stupid? Like, and I'm like, my daughters are like, no, Mom, you gotta post it. Yes.
It's like viral, kind of, right?
Yes. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it's like, I'm so glad, because I do. And I've had so many people reach out to me.
Because of that video.
So many people reach out to me, still reaching out to me. Like, oh my gosh, I'm depressed. I just got out of prison. I don't know where to go. And I'm like, man, hit me up because I'm here. As long as I have time, I will
talk. Like, that's what we can really do. Talk.
Absolutely.
Put you in a place.
No, I can't make them change.
You have to do it yourself. Yeah.
Yes, but I can encourage people and give them hope. You know what I mean?
Tell people too. Like, all I could really do for you is hear you out and give you my advice or whatever.
And you could take it for what it is, right? Exactly. You could take it and use it or not.
I can't get you to that job because I couldn't even get myself that job.
Yes. Absolutely. But when you offer people hope, like I said, it's like it makes a huge difference. And we don't even know how we're affecting. You probably don't even know how you're affecting people.
No, not at all, honestly.
But you are. You're touching people, which is awesome, So keep doing what you do.
You too.
Yes, thank you.
I love that. Well,
women winning, right? Women winning. Yes, I love it.
Yes.
That's why I'm always like, where are my women at? Where are my women at? Like, that's why I want to help women, like, and really passionate about it, because I feel like women were always taught to, like, sit down, shut up, cook dinner, right? Especially in Hispanic community, right? Like, I know, because I was like, well, my ex was Hispanic, 23 years.
Yeah.
Serve me, do this, do that. And I'm like, no, women are coming up. We're doing something different.
I'm still down for those vibes, because that's what I do.
No, because it's domestic too. It's in us. It's within us, but I also feel like...
don't fucking tell me what to do.
But you still can also be independent and make your own money too, which makes your family better.
For sure.
Because when two people are working together as a team, like, that's double money. It's double, and it's not so stressful. But obviously, I'm the same way, because my kids are like, Mom, when are you gonna cook? And like, I love to cook. I love to do things like that. I'm still domesticated in so many ways, because that's in us. That's how we were made, right? Yeah. But I also want to make money too.
Well,
right?
We have to.
Exactly. I don't want to wait and ask somebody for money to do my nails.
Oh God,
I'm good.
no.
Like,
I mean, I feel like, babe, everybody knows, like, my monthly nails, like, knows, you know?
Yes,
Like,
yeah. But you guys work together. I love it. You work together, which is
he
perfect.
does everything. Like,
I love it.
yeah.
Amazing.
He is the one that encourages me. Even though I'm like,
But see, that's what's great about a good man, though.
Yeah.
When they encourage you and they're behind you, you're a backbone to help and push. We all need push.
Sometimes I'm like, you know? But I know it's...
for your best interest.
Exactly.
And it obviously, because it's working. Whatever you're doing is working.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.